Unlock the secrets to finding any court case in Weber County with ease and confidence. Welcome to This Explainer. Navigating Utah's judicial and administrative records can honestly feel a bit like trying to read a map in the dark. Whether you're conducting a background check, researching a property, or tracking a personal case, today we are going to turn the lights on. By the time we wrap up here, you're going to know exactly where to look, what tools to use, and how to actually interpret all the information you find. We're going to break down this complex system so you can search with total confidence. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the Weber County court structure, then dive into searching cases online, exploring the free My Case portal, making in-person and grammar requests, and finally, navigating all those fees and redaction rules. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Weber County Court Structure. Your very first roadblock is going to be jurisdiction. It's like knowing which store sells what you need. The 2nd District Court in Ogden is for the heavy hitters, felonies, major civil disputes, and domestic relations. On the flip side, the limited jurisdiction justice courts handle infractions, minor misdemeanors, and small claims under $15,000. If you don't know the severity of the case, you literally won't know which court's repository to search. It is absolutely crucial to figure that out first. Now, municipal lines can be incredibly deceptive here. You might think every city has its own independent court, right? Well, think again. If you get a speeding ticket in Hooper, that record actually lives in the consolidated Roy/Weber Justice Court. Utah City and Huntsville, they share a court too. Knowing these little geographic quirks is going to save you hours of searching in the completely wrong place. And here is a fun curveball. When you finally track down a domestic matter, like a divorce or a protective order in the district court, you might be surprised to see a court commissioner listed instead of a judge. Don't panic. Commissioners are quasi-judicial officers. They handle preliminary proceedings, and the recommendations automatically become official court orders. Well, unless a district judge actively steps in to modify them. Here is a major trap I see researchers fall into all the time, mixing up state and federal records. State violations in Ogden sit on Utah's Chorus network, which feeds the state's public search tools. But federal crimes, or civil cases involving a federal question, those live in the United States District Court. For those, you are completely out of the state system and have to use the National PACER network. So you've got to keep that straight. Moving right along to Section 2, Searching Cases Online. Let's talk about the Exchange system. Exchange is the state's centralized digital hub. It pulls data directly from the Chorus system the exact moment a clerk types it in. It's awesome, but here is the catch. Utah doesn't use general tax funds to provide public internet access to these files. So Exchange is entirely a pay-to-play system. You literally have to set up an account and pay fees just to hit the search button. And you might want to brace yourself for a little sticker shock. To offset funding shortfalls, the legislature recently bumped the cost to 35 cents per search. Now, I know 35 cents sounds like pocket change, but that's actually a 133% increase from the old rate. If you are hunting for multiple name variations or aliases, those microtransactions are going to drain your wallet incredibly fast. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Just opening your initial guest account is going to cost you $10. Want to actually download a document so you can read it? That is $1 per document. So if you plan on doing some heavy-duty legal research or deep background checks, do yourself a massive favor and just opt for the $40 monthly subscription. It gives you 500 searches and is way more cost-effective. Let's look at a better option if you qualify in Section 3, the free My Case portal. So what if you are directly involved in a case? Well, you absolutely shouldn't have to pay those fees, and you don't have to. Enter My Case. This is a completely free, secure portal built exclusively for people directly involved in a lawsuit or documented victims. It bypasses the Exchange paywall entirely. You can track your whole case history, download filed papers for free, and even pay off fines without any annoying per-transaction penalties. Because My Case gives you the keys to sensitive personal files, the authentication process is super strict. To get through that digital door, you need a validated email, your exact case number, and a Utah government-issued ID. Now, if you're an out-of-state resident, don't worry, you can still get in. You'll just have to manually email your ID documents over to mycase@utahcourts.gov so a clerk can personally verify you. Let's pivot to Section 4, In-Person and JAMA Requests. If you really want the power of the Exchange network but absolutely hate the idea of that digital price tag, you've got an old-school option. Just physically head down to the 2nd District Courthouse on Grant Avenue in Ogden. They have public terminals right there in the building where you can search exchange completely for free. Sure, it costs you a trip, but for heavy research, it's a real game changer. Now, what if you aren't looking for a trial at all? What if you need county administrative data? I'm talking property values, incident logs, or voter records. For that, you bypass the court system entirely and use GRAMA, the Government Records Access and Management Act. You can basically think of it as Utah's localized version of the Federal Freedom of Information Act. A huge pitfall here is sending a GRAMA request to the wrong jurisdiction. Every single county department silos its own records. So if you want incident logs, you've got to ask the sheriff's office. Need property evaluations? That goes straight to the assessor. You literally have to target the specific department, either electronically through the state's Next Request portal or by using their dedicated manual forms. But here is the absolute best part about a GRAMA request. It puts the government on a strict clock. Once you hit submit, the county has exactly 10 business days to respond. It's the law. They either have to hand over the records, give you a solid legal justification for denying you, or officially notify you that the sheer volume of your request means they need a specific extension. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 5, Navigating Fees and Rules. When you finally download that coveted court document, don't be shocked if it looks a little bit like Swiss cheese. Under Utah's Rule of Judicial Administration 4-202.09, clerks are actually required to redact non-public information to protect people's privacy. So you're only ever going to see the last 4 digits of a social security or bank number, minors will only be listed by their initials, and non-party contact details like a witness's phone number are just gone entirely. And in some scenarios, entire cases just vanish from public view. Look, while Utah's justice system is fundamentally all about transparency, parties can file ex parte motions to classify a document as private, protected, or sealed. But judges definitely don't rubber stamp these. The petitioner really has to prove that their right to privacy significantly outweighs the public's inherent right to know. As we bring this explainer to a close, I want to quickly remind you, this explainer is for informational purposes only. You should always consider consulting with a qualified legal professional for specific legal advice regarding your unique situation. So there you have it. You now know how to distinguish between courts, navigate both Exchange and MyCase, track down free access points, and deploy highly targeted GRAMA requests. The system is definitely complex, but the keys are now firmly in your hands. Now that you possess the roadmap to Weber County's records, what hidden histories or vital case details will you uncover first?